you go. It's not nasty. I'm eating it. It's like dinner.
Good evening, Bear Nation. This just in. Forrest and Renee are arguing over whether or not her dinner tastes good.
No, it tastes good. It's just hot.
It tastes good. It's just hot. It's going to burn his mouth. Important things. I'm glad we've all tuned in for this. Yes, a husband should test your hot, tasty meal to make sure that it's good to go. I agree completely. Bear Nation, quick poll. Should or should not Forrest taste the dinner? Thumbs up if he should taste the dinner. Yes, if he should taste the dinner. Thumbs down or no if he should not. We're waiting with pins and needles. I'm getting a bunch of yeses already. It's looking like your mouth's going to get burnt, foe. Oh, goodness. Hi, everybody. Good evening. It's 7 p.m. Central Time. There's 1,000 things wrong in the world right now, and I don't know if I have any interest in talking about any of them. We are going to discuss primarily as we get started, Grindstone Ministries. Shalom, Romans 12:18. Just read that the other day, and I was thinking about you. We are going to discuss Grindstone Ministries, which is one of our charitable organizations, and the response to Hurricane Ida. We're going to talk about that. Shalom to all the Blue Wrenches. Welcome, Bear Nation. Happy to have you all here. There's a lot of other live streams going on tonight, including Carl's Tactical Tuesday 100th episode at Tactical Rifleman. So I in no way mean to pee in anybody else's Cheerios. I just felt the need to come talk to y'all. So Ida, it's a hurricane. It's a big old storm. And the toddler wants to make lipstick. Not right now.
Yeah.
Is your mouth actually on fire, Fo?
It's hot.
It's hot. Okay.
Well, we save it for this weekend and then Caroline's going to come.
All right. So,
Renee's mouth.
Hurricane Ida. Some things that y'all should know. For about the last 72 hours, Grindstone has been quarterbacking logistics for response to Hurricane Ida. There are some really, really awesome people that Grindstone has worked with in the past that are on site or trying to get to site currently. The problem is that the site is massive. So we sent out an email yesterday to let y'all know that we are fundraising at grindstoneministries.com for disaster relief currently. And so if you have an interest in supporting us, supporting the people who are on the ground doing recovery, grindstoneministries.com. From the Reverend Gilbert Abreu, who's a personal friend of mine, and if you deployed to Hurricane Michael with us, you met the Rev. He's a total badass. He's at Night Runner's Crisis Response, which, by the way, if you'd like to assist, his email is crisishelp@nightrunners.net. Crisishelp@nightrunners.net. This is their list of current needs of material, things that they need. Equipment, shipping containers or enclosed trailers, either on loan or donated. Small camper for living quarters, either on loan or donated. Propane burner stoves for food prep. Generators and heavy gauge extension cords. And I would add, because of the intel we're receiving, fuel to go with them if you have generators, because the power is out all over Southeast Louisiana. Fuel accessibility is terrible. By the way, if you don't care about Hurricane Ida, at least listen from a preparedness standpoint. Generators, fuel, and heavy gauge extension cords, and deep freezers. As for food, they need tortillas, coffee, and all the coffee fixings, I would add. Baby formula, potatoes, fresh vegetables, canned vegetables, fresh fruit, and dog and cat food. For supplies, they need bleach, bug spray, charcoal, gas, diesel, and propane, ongoing, as many resupplies as possible. Large pots with lids, bottled water, wipes, first aid kits. We will be hooking them up with some first aid kits. Diapers, bungees, N95 masks and gloves, hand sanitizer, work gloves, kitchen gloves, steam table pans and lids, large coffee pots and filters, commercial trash bags and trash cans, folding tables, food containers, lots and lots and lots, hot boxes to keep the food hot, and prepackaged utensils. Again, if you need to reiterate, go back, rewind, watch again. This is from the Reverend Gilbert Abreu at Night Runners. Again, his email, if you have any of that you'd like to donate, is crisishelp@nightrunners.net. crisishelp@nightrunners.net. It's also in the description down below, both on YouTube and Patreon, and you can find him on Facebook at Night Runners Mobile Crisis Services if you're still on Facebook. He is running what he calls strike teams, resupply runs from Ocala, Florida area into the storm-affected areas. We have another gentleman named Lee Roby, who is a good friend of ours, worked with us on the Hurricane Michael deployments, who is in the storm-affected areas currently beginning to set up response. So in addition to the materiel, the things, like I said, we're raising money at grindstoneministries.com to be able to fund a lot of this operation. And 100% of whatever y'all donate to that goes straight to them. We don't keep a dime of that. If you donate it for disaster relief, that's exactly where it will go. And for right now, we're going to assume that all the donations that come in the near future are for disaster relief. So Lee is boots on the ground in Louisiana, and he's already beginning to figure out how to coordinate a response. As far as manpower and equipment, we need tree guys, although he has one tree crew, but we need more. Heavy equipment with material handling capability. So if you have a tractor, forks or a grapple would be really good. Same thing with front end loaders, skid steers, forks and grapples, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of debris and a lot of vegetative debris. We need people to run saws. We need people for security and for base camp operations, to cook food, to keep the coffee pot going, potentially to render aid, search and rescue personnel. There's a lot that goes into this. And so all of this is ongoing currently. Shalom, Daniel Streety. All of this is ongoing currently, just starting to get set up. I am in prayer currently over whether or not I personally need to go. I'm waiting for the Father to tell me whether or not I need to go or if I need to stay here and quarterback. I don't know the answer to this yet. So whether or not I am personally going, I don't know yet. If he tells me to go, I will go. If he tells me to stay, I will stay. My initial response is I want to go. And I don't know if that's the right thing for me to do. So I'm waiting to get word from him. And I have asked him to speak to me undeniably in ways that I can absolutely understand. And so if you'd keep that in prayer as well, I'd greatly appreciate it. So we also have people on the ground in Tennessee, Pineville, Tennessee area, southwest of Nashville, where there was catastrophic flooding from the last storm that came through. And there is now going to be even more flooding. About 20 people died, a bunch of people still missing. And so be keeping them in your prayers as well. And so this is a very large, slow-moving storm that's wreaking havoc. Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, I believe Eastern Florida is having, Western Florida is having issues with localized flooding as well. So it's bad news. It's bad news. Aeolus, I know you said I should go, and I agree, but it's not my will be done or your will be done. It's Yah's will be done. So we're going to see what happens with that. But be aware that we have this ongoing currently for Hurricane Ida, and we have resources on the ground, personnel on the ground, and we're coordinating to get more and more and more into those areas. In fact, I've got some intel real quick. I'm going to read from somebody here. This came in yesterday, and I'm not going to tell you who it came from because I don't want to OPSEC people. Current situation, Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish, Louisiana, are destroyed. I just started crying when I found out how bad it really is there. Both parishes have been utterly devastated. Clackmines Parish had levees fail, severe flooding. Kramer Parish, levees failed, severe flooding. Jefferson Parish is without power, and water pressure is close to zero because the roots of the uprooted trees have ripped out the water lines. Levees failed. Water level was over 20 foot in Golden Meadows. Several people are still missing. Sewer and drainage has failed. New Orleans is without power. Sewage and drainage is failing. Water is expected to be lost soon, if not already. All 8 of the main power transmission lines are annihilated. The entire system fell in the river. Cell towers are down everywhere. This goes for the vast majority of southeast Louisiana. No comms. And by the way, if you don't give one damn about disaster relief, listen from a preparedness standpoint. No comms. Rescues are still being conducted for Hammond, Harvey, Marrero, and LaPlace. It's extremely bad, and the roads to get in and out are impassable. Matthews and Raceland have downed trees and power lines all over the highway. Grand Isle has a group of 40 people that lost comms with, and the entire island was underwater. People that are coming in from Texas in the morning use the Waze app. Lafayette is probably the last place you will find gas on your way in. Make sure you bring enough fuel to get you around and to get back out again. Please bring food for the rescuers. They need to be fed and need beverages to drink. Use Gas Buddy to find out which stations have gas and power. I have to get some sleep. I can't keep my eyes open anymore. We'll update again in the morning. So the situation is not very good. And we are doing what we can to address the situation to the best of our ability. And we partner with you to do that. So if you feel convicted to assist, grindstoneministries.com. And for right now, I am quarterbacking from here in eastern Oklahoma. And if the Father says jump, I will say, yes, sir. How high? So that's what's going on with Ida from an us standpoint. And I appreciate you guys and girls who have supported Grindstone Ministries all these years. It's been 2 years. 2 years we've been doing this now. And we greatly appreciate y'all. So, also, Grindstone news, briefly, while we're on the subject. Grindstone has its first employee, what we're calling the Grindstone person, whose job it is to deal with all things Grindstone. And so this is disaster relief like this. This is the fight against human trafficking, both on the restoration side and, I'm happy to announce, drum roll please, on the rescue side. So I'm not going to give you any more details as far as rescue is concerned, other than to say up to this point, we have been supporting other ministries that are involved in rescue. And now we are directly getting involved in rescue as well. So we're still fundraising for Caleb House on the restoration side, still working with our architect to get the plans. Once we get the plans finalized, we can do takeoffs to determine how much it's going to cost to actually build the dang thing. At which point we will reach out to y'all, all our badasses in the Bear Nation, and say, hey, it's time to strap on our tool belts and get to work. And we will build Caleb House with our own blood, sweat, and tears. So if you're not signed up for the newsletter at grindstoneministries.com, get signed up, because when we deploy, all the information on that deployment will be administered through the newsletter at grindstoneministries.com. Additionally, we have a construction project for a couple that has a house filled with mold. The allowable air quote, is 200 parts per million. The air quality samples that were taken out of their house was 40,000 parts per million. So what's that, 20 times the allowable, no, 200 times the allowable limit of black mold in their house. All their belongings are essentially destroyed. And so, to the best of our ability, we're going to take a track hoe and smash their house into little itty bitty bits, put it in a container, haul it off, and then put another house back in its place. And so if you'd like to be involved with that, grindstoneministries.com, sign up for the newsletter. That is an ongoing, that's in the pre-planning phase right now. And then once we get it from pre-planning to planning, we'll start setting out details for that deployment. So, yay Grindstone, yay Bear Nation. We appreciate y'all supporting us. And this, for everybody to understand, because of 75 Hard, is a non-alcoholic beer, because I need one after the day we've had thus far.
Yeah, somebody said they were busting into the mead after the day they had.
Yeah.
Like, amen. Days.
And it's a German beer. So, Eastern Oklahoma, Akonaste. Email admin at grindstoneministries.com for further details and for vetting. Non-alcoholic, Romans 12:18 75 hard. I am on day 59 of 75 hard, which means I have 16 more days or 2 weeks and 2 days without alcohol in my system, which I had to take a press pause for a week due to COVID-19 and pneumonia. And so that will make 82 days in total without any alcohol. And actually, I did day one twice because everybody else wanted to join me. So 83 days without alcohol for everybody who loves to accuse me of being some kind of drunkard. Kiss my hairy white ass.
It wasn't for the alcohol, it was for the pneumonia.
Was for the pneumonia?
When you said you pressed pause for a little bit, it wasn't because you needed.
No, I pressed pause because of the pneumonia, not because of the alcohol. What's up, Cat? Shalom, brother. So, anywho, here we are now that we've spent 16 minutes on a Grindstone update, and all of y'all are always like, Bear, what's going on with Grindstone? There's the intel dump on Grindstone. Hit me with your prepper comments and questions, por favor. Bear, do you plan to do the extra 3 steps for the 1 year hard? Andrew Stanek, I do not. In fact, when I was first kicking this idea around, mentioned it to my team, and somebody who's on the porch here said something to the effect of, you already do hard things all the time. Why are you doing this? And I was like, well, cause discipline. So, but I am going to continue to keep in my routine 1 daily PT at a minimum, as well as the gallon of water at a minimum, which for me is not a problem. I drink between 5 and 7 liters of water a day anyway. So I'll continue to do that. And reading books, I already do that. Reading my scriptures, I already do that. The daily progress selfie, not so much. That's not really a thing that I do. Although I do shoot videos almost every day, so that ought to count. And then the whole idea of like hardening yourself by taking an ice cold shower every day. I'm going to harden myself by working out here on the homestead every day instead. So, John Plato, the China Sea area is getting rather spicy. Indeed it is. Been saying for 1.5 years that a hot conflict is coming with China. It's just a matter of when. Stay survived. Thank you. Bless you. Romulus.
I just asked a great question. We have a kit that helps with burns.
We have a kit that helps with burns. We have several kits that help with burns. We have the Crash Kit and the Smash Kit that both have the ability. Those are for automotive vehicles, for maritime use. They were designed in conjunction with our buddy Devin, who races really fast trucks through the deserts of Southern California. And they come in Pelican cases with a waterproofed, vacuum-sealed Bear Fac along with it, the Crash Kit and the Smash Kit, because motor vehicle accidents oftentimes include burns. And so those kits specifically are designed to address burns in addition to the March algorithm, as well as broken bones, cervical injuries, blah, blah, blah. We also have burn dressings in the store at refugemedical.com. Is there like a 7.5 not so hard? What's up, McMikey? Love you, bro. Barry Honeycutt, what's your email? What do you want to email me about? I have many emails. Let's make sure you get to the right place. Thoughts on inflation shortages? Been crickets lately. Inflation is a real thing. Roughly 30% inflation, realized inflation currently. Shortages are real. Does the bucket count as a first aid kit? Yes. Can you use the HSA for them? Yes, you can, Beach Garden. Awesome, Logan. That's awesome to hear. Logan, if I'm remembering correctly, you didn't have a whole lot to lose anyway, brother. Why is it that every time I start a live stream, the bugs start eating my legs? Bear, the CIATF finally got me. Tested positive for the Rona Friday morning. Fatigue is my only symptom. Thank the Lord. God bless you and your crew. Love the channel. Bless you, Mike. I got my bucket. Fighting with a pistol, question mark. Well, that could mean a lot of different things. It could mean you have a pistol that's so atrocious that you're constantly fighting with it. It could mean that you have bad fundamentals, which means you have a hard time hitting, so you're fighting with it. Or it could mean you're betting your life on a pistol, in which case I hope A and B are not true, in which case C, you should go take some training from somebody. Go see James Yeager. Go see Carl at Tactical Rifleman. Come see us for Pistol 1 and 2. Go train with Trey at Aola's Defense. Go see Reed Hendricks. Go see Rex. Go see Instructor Z. There are so many people that are, if you're in the Pacific Northwest, go hang out with Red Frog, with Chris and Steph, and learn to shoot a pistol. There are so many people. And I'm not saying take a CCW class because they're going to be like, you got to shoot 38 to 50 holes into the target at 10 feet. That's not what I mean. I mean, actually being able to fight with your sidearm. Go get training from somebody on that. Go to a sheepdog response class. Hell, they got classes everywhere, and they're gigantic. There's lots of great instructors. You can go see Lovell. Take a John Lovell class. So, what's up, Hillbilly Homesteader? Fighting with a pistol to get to the rifle. Well, luckily for me, I live in eastern Oklahoma, and, you know, according to YouTube, you're not allowed to handle a weapon on camera anymore, so I'll just move the camera. So here's this thing right here.
I recommend buying some.
And then there's that other thing right there. So, Bear, I must say, you've lost weight in the past 2 months. I've been watching you regularly. Great job. Between you and PJF, I'm learning some new info. Please continue. Thank you, E-Roll Cavlac Verizon. I love the fact that your last name is Verizon. That's pretty cool. You're probably rolling in the dough, brother. Overall living. Brother, I was just thinking about you earlier today, and I want to confess in front of 491 other people, shame on me for not texting you and saying what's up when I was thinking about you. So instead, you get this in front of all these witnesses. I love you, man. I miss you, man. Can't wait to see you. You're the freaking best. So, what crops are you best at growing? Sheep? So I'm not particularly good at planting anything, but I'm also really bad at quitting. So my wife is very good when it comes to growing things. My wife is much better at it than I am. And so we tend to have a robust garden. This year was kind of a crapshoot, honestly, but we tend to have a robust garden, and we're doing a lot of work prepping the garden for fall planting season right now. Building raised beds and prepping soil and getting our seeds started and blah, blah, blah. But that's all garden stuff. And within the garden, my favorite thing to eat from a garden are A, salad greens. I love salad greens out of the garden. And B, I love potatoes. So opposite ends of the spectrum. What do you got there?
Some flowers that smell like peppers.
They smell like peppers?
They do.
Are you sure it's not just a COVID hangover? Taste them. Do they taste like baking soda?
Like they're warm.
It just smells back.
Yeah, at least your smell's back.
It's very like it's like the green. Like maybe it's the green.
Barry Honeycutt, roger that. Bless you. Admin at Bear Independent will handle that.
Well, you can go on and donate the scriptures if you want.
That's true. You can go to Grindstone Ministries and just donate a copy of the scriptures there. It's like you buy it, but we move it out of the sell at cost pile into the donate at no cost pile. So if you want to do that, you can do that too. Bear, do you have a Rumble channel? I did for a while, and frankly, I stopped keeping up with it because it was a pain in the behind. Back to row crops. We have planted pinto beans with great success. We've planted corn with questionable success. We've planted green beans with some pretty good success. And right now we're growing amaranth like it's our job, but we have the chickens to thank for that, not us. Barry, you're welcome. Barry, you got sick because you stopped drinking. Maybe. Shalom, Jay Morris. Sergeant Storms, what's up, brother? You're welcome, sweetheart. Let's see. Still not gotten my sense of smell or taste back yet. Sorry to hear that.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks when everything's usually baking soda.
Tiborosaurus Rex. Shalom, brother. You know, let's get back to like, who do I go take training with? Hey, there's Rex right here in the comments. You want to know how to shoot a weapon? Go see Rex. Go to his channel. Click on his little blue wrench name right there, and it'll take you to his channel. Or go to rexdefense.com and go sign up for a class with him. You know, training is really the thing that makes the difference between questionable proficiency and actual proficiency. People miss this all the time. You do not rise to your level of expectation. You fall to your level of training. You know, right now we have our training team is in Nashville setting up for an 8-hour tactical emergency casualty care course there tomorrow. And they're going to run people through all types of scenarios tomorrow. They're going to jack with their OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, act. They're going to force them to operate under stress. That is going to get them all twisted. That's going to get them out of breath and under stress and in pain and force them to execute and prioritize while they're executing. And it's going to be great. And they're going to learn massive amounts while they do it. And you see everybody stutters once you start jacking with their OODA loop. You know, they may be doing a great job, and then you simulate an arterial blood spray to the face, and all of a sudden they just stop. Hey, your patient's dying. Oh, you're getting shot because you never moved off the X. Blah, blah, blah. Bang, 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 bang. And so you think you got it all wrapped up until you go and do it. And then it's a whole nother thing, bro. It's a whole nother thing. Ain't that right, Mass Preppa? I like Mass Preppa. I met him at a class. You can process sorghum. Have at it. If not, find something easy. Sorghum? Yeah. It's where you get molasses from. Let's see what else we got. Government using OSHA to push needlecraft now. Work at a Fortune 10 oil company, and this is the pressure making them fold to mandate it. Well, Ryan Hogan, I would just say, peace, y'all. I'm out. 80% of the American population, 80% is against forced vaccination. 80%. And depending on where you're...
Because they're going to make your life hard.
And depending on where your company is located, there's already class action lawsuits in the state of Texas and the state of Tennessee for that very thing. Shalom, Devin. Still waiting on Arizona dates. It's going to be Phoenix, and we'll have them in the store probably within a week. Phelps is working on that.
I got a question.
You got a question?
What's Alice type LBE?
What's Alice type LBE? So that's the older style. LBE is load-bearing equipment, and it uses metal clips to latch things together. Usually, the old Alice style stuff was typically like a belt with a pair of H suspenders, and you'd have like a couple of canteens on it, maybe a sustainment kit, some rifle magazines, compass, maybe a knife, stuff like that.
Well, what kit would you put on?
Depends on what I'm doing. I mean,
the Bear Pack, Bearman.
this thing right here is hard to beat on a belt. SOB, small back. It's a little itty bitty thing. Here, I'll hold it next to a beer bottle for scale. It's a little tiny kit. It's, see how thick it is? There you go. It's as thick as a beer bottle. It weighs as much as one loaded AR mag, and it's got everything you need and nothing you don't for TCCC stop the bleed. So I like the SOB kit a lot, and it's Molly / Powell's webbing for those who are in the know of what that means. But it'll integrate with Alice. You can, if you have some of those extra Alice clips, you can just run them through the webbing back here and hook them into your gear. But the way Alice worked was to try and give the warfighter some modularity so that you could arrange your stuff where you wanted it to go. Prior to that, World War II, Korean War, all the web belts and all that, your magazine pouches were sewn into the belt. They were where they were. That's it. That's what you got. So the idea behind Alice was to have different components. Like, for example, here's a flashbang pouch that's Molly compatible. And with Alice, rather than having these, the webbing on the back, you had these metal clips, and you could dangle your different pouches and stuff from different points on your load-bearing equipment, LBE, or what was called LCE for a while, load-carrying equipment. And then they were LBVs, load-bearing vests, because the Department of Defense loves acronyms and letters all smashed together. And then Molly / PALS. I think Molly is actually copyrighted by Natick Naval Research Center. But this is called PALS webbing, or Molly capable. Then Molly came along with the same idea of that modularity. You could put stuff wherever you wanted it, but they had even more types of pouches, even more modularity, so you could adapt not only for the individual warfighter, but also for the individual mission of that warfighter. Because I might have to go do a thing today that I need 10 mags on me and a bunch of, frag grenades and a couple of smokes and whatever. And then I might go do the thing tomorrow where I need 3 mags, right? And so you can add and take away stuff fairly easily depending on what the mission is. So that's Alice and Molly.
Is Alice an acronym?
Alice, yeah. I forget what it is. I forget what it stands for. It's something American Load Improved Combat Equipment. I don't remember. Google knows. There's also an interesting ongoing issue with people who ask Bear things instead of Google. So, I would always say, like, go to DuckDuckGo if you don't like Google, whatever.
All-purpose, lightweight, individual carrying equipment.
There you go. Super lightweight, too. We've come a long way. Bathrooms. Yes, Jamie, bathrooms. Arkansas living. Shalom, brother. How late am I to the party? David White, you are 31 minutes and 15 seconds late. Funny German Canada means no one there. Any recommendations for a Kydex holster? I mean, bro. I mean, there's good holster companies. There's many questionable holster companies. I would ask your local law enforcement or your buddies who carry guns for a living, what do you recommend? There's lots of companies out there, and I'm not there. There's one company that I'm in a holding pattern to shout out. I'll say that. We're not there yet then. So thank you, Storms. Thank you. There is also Hebrews 10:25-27. Forsake not the gathering together, even as the day approaches. Eric, is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're talking about, Eric? Viper holsters. Saw 5.56 Frontier for 41 cents a round today. Hunter Kirk, that's not too bad, actually. Texas T, shalom, brother. What are the questions we got? Awesome. Great feedback, y'all.
Still have that wig.
Do I still have that wig? I do not.
What will you do for work if your employer requires you to get the jab?
What would I do for work if my employer requires me to get the jab? Well, I'll continue to go to work because my employer is me, and I don't require that of myself or anybody else. I believe deeply in personal freedom. If you want it, go get it. I don't want it, and I don't think I should be able to make you go get it. But if I was somebody else working somewhere else, I would leave. I have left jobs on principle for other things before, and you know what?
Amen.
I'm still here.
Yep.
The Father continues to provide. Give us this day our daily bread. And over there, underneath my gazebo, although it wasn't a gazebo at the time, it was nothing but a stack of rocks at the time, I was told by the creator of the universe, you will get on your knees or I will put you on your knees. And so I'm not always a great listener, but when he talks to me like that, I pay attention. So I put my knees in the dirt and I started praying. And I was told unequivocally, you will never go without your daily bread. Stop asking me. You will always get what you need. Go and do. That's why I made you, so you could go and do, not so you could come to me every day complaining and wondering and worrying. You will never go without your daily bread.
It's like your job saying you need to shave your face. Or you shave your beard off.
Hell no. I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do.
Far more invasive and potentially helpful.
I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. And to that point, so Leviticus 19:2 makes it clear, be set apart as Yahweh your Elohim, the Lord your God, is set apart. Quit trying to conform to the nations, people. Everybody sits around and bitches and moans about how bad things are, and then they march lockstep right with how bad things are. No. Be sanctified. Be set apart. Be holy unto your Creator. Is it scary? Yeah, it's scary, but it's not called faith if you don't have to take any risks. So I would leave. And like I said, I have left really good paying jobs for much smaller reasons than this.
When are we going back to Nashville?
We were in Nashville today and we'll be there tomorrow. I believe the Responder 3 class is still up on the store at refugetraining.com right now. So we are in Nashville currently. But I'm own a biz. But I own a biz. North Jersey Tree Experts, what's up, brother? Yeah, good news. You're the guy in charge. Don't mandate it for your people. In fact, I guarantee you it is just a matter of time, and hopefully sooner than later, that all these virtue signaling pro-vax a-holes are going to be out of business because 80% of the country does not support mandatory vaccinations. And to the best of my ability, as I'm aware of them, I don't do business with people that require mandatory vaccinations for their people. I'm not giving those people money. I'll go somewhere else. And if North Jersey Tree Experts was advertising as if we don't require the vax and don't think you should either, if I'm looking through Instagram ads and they pop up because I need a tree company, guess who I'm going to hire? Joe's Cuck Tree Service that had all of his people vaccinated mandatorily, or North Jersey Tree Experts? Nope. I'm going to call up North Jersey Tree Experts. I believe in freedom. Freedom. I quit my job because of Saturday work unless I'm waiting for the mandate so I can quit. Okay. Starting my own company now because of all the crap that's going on with employers. That's exactly right, Adam. That's exactly right. I did just spit. Yeah. Loogies, bro. Homemade gummy bears.
Freeze dry.
Freeze dry. Yeah, that's you probably put them in the store for $100 a piece. How gross is that? Semi trucks are down for DEF sensors. I am aware. Billy Hill, what's up, man? I'm from Muskogee. I'm proud to say I'm an Okie from Muskogee. I'm not, but, you know, there's a song about that. No storage requires a mask. Me either. Or if I do, because it's the only option I have, I don't wear the damn mask. And I've actually picked up this lovely move from Renee. They hand you a mask and you just say thanks and walk away with it in your hand. And then if it ends up on the floor in the trash, oops. Oops. Same here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Tiny is learning tree trimming and clearing land with my brother down in Southeast Arkansas. There you go. Joining your Patreon tomorrow. Awesome. I appreciate that, Backwoods Packer. By the way, it's the last day of the month, and Patreon sometimes does weird things like where you're signed up, but then you're unsigned up at the first of the month. So if you're on Patreon and you go to log in tomorrow and it's like, sign up for Bear Independent, that's because they had some kind of issue processing your card, and it's usually on your bank's end. I noticed it's about 10% of people each month, and then you gradually flock back to Patreon. They do it to me. Like, I'd support at least half a dozen channels on Patreon. And sometimes it comes back, it's like, we had a problem running your card. It's like the same damn card you've been running for 4 years. Yeah. And it just goes. That's exactly right. So, who's ready for deer season? Amen, Terry Williams. I got to be honest. There's so much stuff going on in the world right now that I'm not saying that I'm overwhelmed. I'm specifically not paying too close of attention to it so that I don't get overwhelmed. I'd rather get up early in the morning and work with my wife before it gets way too hot in the garden and work on that. We have Sukkot coming up in 20 days? 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. We've got Sukkot coming up, fall festival. I'm looking forward to that. We're splitting firewood. We're planting gardens. We're scrubbing the dang pool because it turned into a duck pond. We're building fence. We're planning missions. We're doing all the right things to the best of our ability. It doesn't mean that I'm not quietly furious about what's happening in Afghanistan, because I am. It doesn't mean that all these things that are going on in the world that I'm not pissed off about, or they're not on my radar, because I am paying attention to them, but not so much so that I'm letting it change my perspective from the micro to the macro, because I am incapable of affecting positive change on the macro. All I can be responsible for is the micro. And so I'm really trying to not get in the weeds on any of that stuff. There's a lot of scary / interesting things happening domestically and around the world right now, but I don't have the bandwidth to be overwhelmed by it. Goose open in 8 days up North Canada for 2 weeks. They allow you to have fully automatic assault slingshots for that, or how do you hunt a goose in Canada? Crossbow?
I used to bow hunt with rabbits.
You used to bow hunt rabbits?
Yep.
That's cool. Off subject, have you heard about the Marine that resigned? Thoughts? I have heard about the Marine that resigned. Thoughts? I think that his first video was really good, and I think that his second video probably got him picked up by the FBI or schwacked by some other 3-letter agency. You say mean things at it. You insult the goose until it falls over, and then you go pick it up.
Hey, I've been attacked by a goose too, and those things are freaking
Yeah,
vicious.
geese are mean.
Have video, which is like reel-to-reel thing or whatever, of me being attacked by a goose. I'm very traumatized by the fact that they're videoing it. Right.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Billy Hill, I know there's a lot of people, you included, that miss the daily brief. And as I said before, and we'll say again, if there's something that comes along that I feel like I can add my 2 cents to for the benefit of y'all, I'll do that. But frankly, there's too much happening too quickly. And that's part of the plan. It's information overwhelm. It's overload. That's intentional. It's to demoralize people, which, by the way, let's talk about this real briefly. The Great Reset, I firmly believe it's a real thing. I firmly believe it's in the process of happening right now. And one of the things that I thought was quite ambitious of the big they, Klaus Schwab et al. At the World Economic Forum, is how do you take America out of the number 1 position in the world? Obviously, the economy is part of it, which is why you're seeing all these COVID-19 bull crap things happening. But also morale, the American spirit. Think about the mental state of the real patriots in this country right now based upon what's happening in Afghanistan. That's morale. It's huge demoralization. And honestly, I know what the SOPs are if we have to leave a piece of equipment behind. Man, you pop the pin on that thermite grenade and chuck it. You don't let the bad guys inherit all of that equipment. And there's already things that are being leaked out that it was more like a peaceful handover by high command than a tuck tail and run or a tactical retreat.
Take this stuff and let's leave.
Yeah. Yep. We're just going to leave these things right. Keys in the ignition. Good luck. And now you've got people being hung from Blackhawks by the Taliban. It's demoralizing. And I don't believe things happen by accident. Is the pretender-in-chief inept? Absolutely. But we all knew that anyway. You really think he was directly involved in this? He'll take the blame for it because that's his job. He's the fall guy, because while you're directing all of your attention at him, you're not paying attention to the people that actually pull the strings. And so how do you take America out of the top position? You got to break our spirit and you got to divide us. And they're working on breaking our spirit, and they've been dividing us for years. And they're breaking the economic backbone of the country, which again gets back to the big scheme of things, big scale. Morale is low, confirmed. Exactly. Do I like it? Not at all. I don't like it. I don't approve of it. There's not a thing I can do about it. Other than pray the Father's will be done, and equip and enable the people who are making actual positive change there to the best of my ability. But writing my congressman isn't going to change things when it comes to that. I firmly believe we are past the point of using politicians to solve political problems. I think the system is broken. What's up, Cameron? World, this good man's doing nothing. I'm just doing everything that I do here where it matters to the best of my ability. The America that many of y'all swore an oath to protect and defend, I don't think exists anymore. And that's really damn sad. I don't like that at all. But empires die. Empires die. It is the way of things. And the American empire is on its deathbed. And that doesn't mean that all the good men and women who have fallen defending this place and earning our freedom for us mean nothing. It means the exact opposite. They got us to this point. But rather than trying to keep an unrighteous abomination of a nation on life support, I would rather focus on what are we going to build next and try to the best of my ability build it in such a way that it's righteous and puts a smile on the Father's face. If we think for a moment we deserve the blessing of our Creator based upon how we act as a society today, we're out of our damn minds. We're out of our damn minds. And it doesn't mean that as individuals within this system of America, that we, within the sound of my voice, are the problem, or that our brothers and sisters in arms are the problem. It just means that the system has degraded so far, in my mind, to this point, that we can't use the system to fix the system any longer. So, what's up, Puzzleman?
Yeah, we talked about, like, there's so much division in the world. Like, even if you agree with somebody on something, they want to pick a fight with you about something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if y'all can hear my wife, but she was just saying that we were talking the other day about how much division there is in the world right now, that even if you agree with somebody on basically everything, the one point that you disagree on becomes the catalyst for an argument or a fight over that one thing. And it's like, if you look at what the founding fathers believed, these men, by the way, they respected each other, but many of them did not like each other. Some of them vehemently so, could not stand one another. And they pledged to each other their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. Many of them had their wives killed, their children killed. They were burned out of their homes. Many of them were killed in the process of creating this nation. They put their balls on the line, man. I don't see a lot of people willing to put their balls on the line right now for America 2.0. And I know they're out there. I get it. But I don't think we get to use the 1.0 system to build 2.0. That's a continuation, not something new. But these men, these founding fathers, did not agree on a lot of things. And what they decided they did agree on was we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator, acknowledgement of the Lord Most High right there, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the lowest common denominator for an American. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not what gender you are, not what socioeconomic bracket you fall in, not what your geographic location is, not whether you're blue collar or white collar, not whether you're pro-vax or against the vax, none of these things. Christian, Muslim, Jew, atheist, Viking, none of those things. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Those are our common denominators. And we've gotten so far away from that. I don't know how we fix what we have. I don't know. I'm open to good suggestions, but I don't know. And I wouldn't say that it plagues me to think about these things, but what I do know is I can create, as Pastor Joe Fox at Viking Preparedness calls it, an island of stability here. I can be as independent of that broken, fragile system here as I can be, so I can perpetuate normalcy for me and mine. Everybody here is on some level into preparedness. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So what are you preparing for? Are you preparing for this hurricane, Hurricane Ida, or another storm like it, for temporary to intermediate term what's the word I'm looking for here? Temporary to intermediate lack of function of the system? Or are you preparing for something much larger than that? Maybe. I can see the potential for widespread, long-term chaos. John Taylor, bless you. It starts with the children and taking them back, Bear. Educate our own. I agree completely. Or find good educators. And so, because not all educators are bad people. But again, I don't understand why we can see this in the education system. It's a bad system with good people in it, but we don't trust the system. Right?
Send your kids to public school and still educate them on life.
Great point. Renee just said off camera, you can send your kids to public school and still educate your kids when they get home from school as well. So
on your foundational principles, on constitution, on the
your
things
home
that like
life.
really matter. Somebody else can teach them, you know.
they can't
arithmetic.
they can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Ozark Geek, shalom, brother. And I'll be honest with you. I vacillate back and forth between really pissed off and really wanting to do something on a national scale and really focusing on right here on my homestead. The ping pong effect between macro national scale and micro me and the people I love it's a damn near constant and has been for the last 18 months. 2 years we're going on of this COVID crap. Bear, what are your thoughts on Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller? John R., I was just addressing that. Thank you for the donation. I think he's right to demand accountability from high command in the Marine Corps and the DOD. And that's what he was initially saying in his first video, that those who are responsible need to take accountability for it. You can't have authority without responsibility. You can't. Or at least in a system that functions properly, you cannot have authority without responsibility. Another indicator of we have a broken system is we have people in positions of authority that don't take responsibility. I was just talking to my oldest daughter about this the other day. One, at least as far as this righteous man, to the best of my ability, is concerned, one cannot have authority without responsibility. And so Scheller was essentially saying that to his uppers. His most recent video saying, join with me, see what I'm capable of, and we'll burn this MFer down. I think if he hasn't already been picked up by the FBI or been disappeared by some other three-letter agency, he will be shortly. You don't get to say those things as an officer in the Marine Corps and not suffer the consequences. You don't get to say those things as a private citizen and not suffer the consequences. So, and again, indicative of the broken system. Well, yeah, we're supposed to have free speech. We're supposed to have an entire Bill of Rights, and they're all infringed every day, daily. And I don't see people in the streets with pitchforks and torches about it. It's just become normal. The Commandant of the Marine Corps wants to court-martial him, confirmed. Well, there you go. At least someone's leading. Ed Rosado, maybe. Is that leadership? I would say this. Those are words. Leadership is actions. Don't confuse the two. Because again, I can understand his sentiment. Join me and we'll burn this MFer down. Okay, how? Well, we're going to make the country great again. Make America great again. How? We're going to take back our country. How? What's the plan? Haven't heard an actual plan from anybody. Not a single plan. Although I was texting with a brother earlier who has an idea of a plan. We just disagree on whether or not it would work. I haven't gotten an actual plan from anybody. Leadership is not saying follow me. Leadership is having so much leadership capital built up with the people that you work with that when you start walking, they go with you. It's not just talking, it's doing. Actum non verbum. Thank you, Andrew Vare. Correct. Brandon, love you back.
That's what I was saying about you earlier. I mentioned before when you were like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to go to the hurricane stuff yet.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, you often are a man of action, like almost to the extreme point of like, you know,
Yep.
So if you're not like have your keys in your hand, to me the answer is no right now. Maybe not yet,
Yeah.
but the answer is definitely a not yet because you don't like stop once you get the like.
My honest
go.
opinion currently, based upon my understanding, it is not yet.
Yeah.
It's too early to know what to do. Anybody see any signs of the trucker strike? I haven't around here. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. Bear, you getting skinny? Well, I appreciate that, Truth Faction. That's kind of the plan. It's called 75 Hard. I say we all go to the White House and demand the demented moron to resign. Okay, Slappy Chap. Here's the thing. If we do that, what comes next? Remember Insurrection Day, January 6th at the Capitol? Oh, they stormed the Capitol. If we just go with that narrative, what comes next? What's the next move and the next move and the next move? Maybe a plan, mass noncompliance. Agreed. And that's the thing. Here I am preaching noncompliance for the last year and a half. It can get a little bit taxing and a little bit frustrating sometimes. In fact, Southern Prepper One made a comment in his video recently. He's fed up, and I don't blame him. I'm fed up too. And he said, if somebody had told me a year ago that this is where we would be, I wouldn't have believed him. I wanted to throw things across the room because I've been saying this for years. Years I've been saying this. This is the direction we're headed. And I'm no prophet. I can just read the writing on the wall. And that's why I don't think we are no longer at a point where political action will fix a political problem. And I'm not advocating mass violence. I am advocating non-compliance for you as an individual or for the businesses that you operate. I'm not playing that game. I'll tell you this, though. If, like in Australia, you believe as the government that you get to lay hands on my children and put any foreign substance in them, you don't know pain and hate like what you will experience. Talk about lines in the sand. There's one of mine. You touch my kids, the end. And this is something really important to think about. And I'm going to say this one time, and I'm going to be brief about it. You take my wife and my kids away from me, you've lost all leverage that keeps the reins on this bear. Just think about that. Benjamin Ortega. At this point, maybe we will just have to wait till the shooting starts. America is over the edge already. Guys, there's been civil unrest for the last 18 months. It's just only been on one side of the spectrum, the far left. See, this is what I mean by adjust your OODA loop. It's already happening. It's been happening for a year and a half. The hardcore left is going to go from civil unrest to actual unconventional warfare. It's just a matter of time. Northeast Rebel. There you go. I don't comply. Has cost me. Shalom, brother Madkelp. I would love it if we can. Shalom, Okie Storm Chaser. I don't think it's plugged in. I think it needs to be plugged in. Thank you, though. I'm so scared for my children, says Justin. I'm not. And here's the thing. I'm not scared for anything because I'm doing everything that I can be to be as resilient here as possible. And some days we make a ton of progress and other days not so much. But every day we get some kind of progress. And there we go. And
there was
let there be light. And it was so. And it was good. Thank you, sweetheart. Adam Rapier agreed. J. John, shalom, brother. Ulfidnar Tribesman, shalom, brother. Bama Blue Eyes, shalom. And we got all the cool kids in the evening. Look at all those big words I just used. Just strung them right together just like that. How would you?
Somebody said it was good to hear my voice.
It is good to hear your voice. Yeah. Yeah, hand me that bucket.
They should stop buying them.
There's no bucket.
Where is it?
It went back to the office.
Well, I guess I'm not going to show you the
They
bucket.
should not buy any more buckets. I have to about the
No. Don't say that on camera.
We're at 36
36
left.
left.
Good. Guys, we got 36 wound care buckets left at refugemedical.com. Go get them.
There will be more.
There'll be more.
all there is right now.
But just go get 'em. Guys, you're terrible at sales.
You have to wait till like
Zip it.
December.
No.
Zip it.
No.
Zip it.
Now is all we have left.
Charles Van Lin, what's up, brother? Shalom.
Putting hundreds of buckets in the front door. We're gonna have to like start lining the street with them.
Do you feel like we're just falling into the trap of the elite's ultimate end game to disarm us? Yeah. I mean, look at the moves that they're making, right? You shall know them by their fruits. Deeds, not words. Politicians lie. That's what they, and I don't care what brand of politician you're into. They lie. That's what they do. Look at what they do. You shall know them by their fruits. Absolutely. The only reason, much like Australia, where they have deployed the military at times to quarantine entire cities. Brisbane, Australia had 17 COVID cases and 250 Australian soldiers showed up in order to quarantine that area of the city. Guys, there were 17 people that I study the Bible with that got COVID about a month ago. Okay? If the military showed up, well, we actually thought two ways about this. The first was, oh, maybe we can like use them as DoorDash now, since we don't have that here. That'd be cool. Like, hey, guys, can you guys fire up the Humvee and run into town and get some Chinese food, and like maybe some more heavy cream for the coffee? That'd be great. Yeah, I'll throw you some money across the gate. That'd be great. On the other hand, who are you and what do you think you're doing? You're on private property, GTFO. You're not supposed to be here. But the only reason that hasn't happened here in the States yet, and it's being attempted, the groundwork's being laid with this COVID shielding bull crap. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is because we maintain a reasonable number of arms to maintain a comfortable distance from tyranny. So we'll see what happens from there. And then if you get into the logistics of disarming the American populace, massive. I don't even know logistically how you would do it.
You talking about a ride-along plan?
Roger that, John Q. Public. Nope. That stays in the pocket. Military just gave away all their guns. Not all of them, believe it. You know, and frankly, our tax dollars bought those. Those are my helicopters. Those are my MRAPs. Those are my squad automatic weapons. And yours too. I want a refund, or you can send me the hardware. Either or. I don't care.
One for them, one for me.
Agreed, stay survived. The only way I could think of is starvation. You mean the supply chain disruptions that they're already starting to indoctrinate us with? Oh, it's supply chain disruptions. How many times I got to say this? Don't get on the bus. Don't go where the bus is. Don't get in the bread lines. Be able to maintain a comfortable distance from tyranny. And frankly, if we're going to like actually go big picture SHTF in the United States of America, my biggest threat out here in the sticks are local yokels behaving badly. It's not striker brigades and MRAPs. It's not that. It's not UAVs. It's not drone strikes. It's not, MH-53 little birds with, operators sitting on the skids. It's not that. It's local yokels behaving badly because there are zero high-value targets in this area. Zero. And if their goal was to shut me up, they'd just delete my YouTube account and I'd be shut up. It's that simple.
People are asking for that court cases.
The people are asking for it? Well, why? I don't know. I don't know if I'll allow it. Just told them not to buy wound care buckets. So it's not like it's the last day of the month or anything,
Don't expect them tomorrow.
I call this bare wisdom time. Love it. Speak the truth, brother. Thank you, Heather Campbell.
While we're sitting here, I can order 121.
Send it. Local yokels behaving badly. Yeah, we're going to call it, Sam, the new acronym is LIBBY. Local yokels behaving badly. There you go, Sam. I like it. What about blue helmets? Blue helmets make wonderful targets. Guys, you see what's behind me? See this? How well is blue going to stick out? You don't need to qualify marksman to be able to hit a blue helmet. That's all I'm saying. Being shot in the head by a 17-year-old crack addict. My fear. There you go. Man, I needed this tonight. Bless you, Drew Stanek. I'm late. Good evening, folks. The DIY Prepper. Shalom. Hey, from Louisiana. Love your content. Thank you, Steven. Stay safe, man. I'm all out to give about the mess this country's in, but I got lots of buckets, right? See, that's the other thing. At some point, you got to ask yourself, just how seriously are you taking the threat? Are you even oriented to the threat? How do you define the threat? And most of us tend to, the scope of the threat that we perceive seems to be in direct correlation to the amount of preparedness that we have. We tend to not be able to fathom problems bigger than what we're capable of dealing with based upon what we have in inventory and what we have in training. And that's a problem for a lot of people because it means you've got blind spots in your preps. Well, Bear, you know, what tips do you have for people living in the city trying to prep? GTFO, leave, get out. Next. What about us suburbanites? Sooner or later, population density is going to be a problem for you. If you don't have a place to bug out to, you should have one, and you should have a plan to get there. And I don't mean the national forest because you and 50,000 other people had that idea. Well, there's lots of resources there. Or the state campgrounds. You think nobody else has thought about that? Come on. Not happening. You can go, but great news. You just started a well-armed commune with zero democracy and no resources in the woods with people you've never met before on the worst day of your life. Probably not a good idea, right? So you need to very seriously figure out how do you GTFO, how do you get out of Dodge when you need to, and where are you going? And then if you're not making positive steps at that place to be secure when you get there and to be well provided for when you get there, if your first step in dealing with SHTF is to leave where you are, you're already playing the game wrong. And I realize there's a lot of people who are like, Barry, you just don't understand. Well, you have the best excuse ever right now. COVID. Just go. Just go. Just go. It's what we did. You guys took a leap of faith. Everybody here took a leap of faith. Everybody here. There is nobody here from here. Nobody. There's nobody. I mean, Okie Storm Chaser. His name's Okie Storm Chaser, but he wasn't an Okie in this part of Okie, right? Like everybody here is not from here. They all came from other places. That's an indicator. And they didn't come from other places here because I'm here. That's another really important point. I'm not your savior. You have one of them, and he's not me. We get a lot of people, especially it's almost, again, demoralizing. The amount of contacts that we get that basically, in a nutshell, summed up our bear. If we could just get to bear camp, it would all be okay. No, you need bear camp where you are. You need pockets of stability in the world of chaos where you are, to borrow that phrase from Pastor Joe Fox. Do I have to give up space Covfefe if I move to the Ozarks? No, of course not. Moving 800 miles to be more secure. Time to get out. Sanctified camp. Exactly. Hey, but if you steal brother Cody, I'm going to come up there and requisition him at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you ain't going to like it. 26 members in my family, my own private militia. There you go. Bear just got done canning some sauce. Ended up with way more tomatoes than I would have ever expected. Praise Yah. That's awesome. I don't even trust Texas at this point. We need secession, and I'm not seeing the moves. Pepper 84, I agree. Another unpopular opinion of mine. Melanie Rice, that's exactly right. What's up, Tactical Homestead? He can make his own choices, brother. Yeah, me too. Me too. And if I choose to requisition him at 3 o'clock in the morning, so be it. Just saying. Just saying. Love the house lights. Thank you. That is Oklahoma's finest.
Love the outhouse lights.
Yeah, that is Oklahoma's finest outhouse right there. Jacuzzi tub, quad holer. It's not a single. It's not a double. It's not even a triple. It's a quad holer. That's right.
One of your mottos: go big or go home.
Go big or go home, including pooping in the woods.
He builds it strong. I make it pretty.
North Idaho is doing fine right now.
Looks pretty.
Awesome to hear, Hunter Kirk.
do y'all need some? Yes, Andrew. I would love to freeze dry some.
Yes, Andrew, I would love to freeze dry some.
Have them bring it by the office.
Thank you, boss man. My son and I include you in our prayers. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I really do. I really do. I have a bug out, but I'd like to have one in us. I'm from California. Okay.
Thank you, Andy.
So when is the wood trim being put up on? I missed it. Where'd it go?
On the outhouse.
Soon. Vengeance is mine, so saith the Lord, but he subcontracts. Bless you, brother. That's right, exactly right. Glock 316. Southeastern Arkansas doing okay. Awesome. Eastern Oklahoma doing just fine right here. And that's the other thing too. I think we're all susceptible, and some of us way more than others, at getting spun up by all the noise in the media or alternative media, or I really trust this website or whatever. Guys, we send people around the country regularly. I just was all around the country. At first glance, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And I talked to hundreds of people while I was out on the road. Not just people who came to the bear class or the refuge medical class or the whatever, but people at gas stations, truck drivers, waitresses, hundreds of people. I didn't run into a single person that I would have considered in any way a supporter of tyranny. Not one person. You know, everybody was telling us when we were in Cleveland, hey, watch out when you go to Philly. And I made a tongue-in-cheek comment, Philly needs to watch out for us when we get there. And you know what? We had a blast in Philly. Met a lot of really good people in Philly. Both locals in Philly and people who drove from, Long Island, from upstate New York, from Maryland, from all over the dang place, from New Jersey. Met a lot of really good people. And so don't be so quick to let perception become reality. All of us, myself included, we need to deal in reality and understand that we all, no matter how much we try, have huge blind spots. We only know what we know. And most of the time, we don't even know that. Sheepdog Tanker, Philly class was awesome. Well, thank you so much, brother. Hey, have you checked the mail lately, bro?
Me?
No, Sheepdog Tanker. By the way, thank you for the gift package. Daniel Andrews, good intel. Just in case anyone missed it, the post office is hiring. No jab and no mask required in the field. I know there are some hurting out there. Post office will hire anyone. They are desperate. There you go.
That's what somebody posted the other day and said that like their pharmacy, like the Walgreens was open, but the pharmacy was closed because they can't hire a pharmacist because they like,
Imagine that.
I don't know if they mandate, but
Good news, Sheepdog Tanker. That's awesome. What's up, QRF? Shabba-dabba-dabba-da. Check out Las Vegas Freedom of Choice. It's gaining ground. Cool. By the way, we tried to put a class together in Vegas. Do you know it's next to impossible to get somebody to call you back from Vegas to rent a space? Yeah. Shabba-dabba-doo-ba-doo. We need to do some sort of mass meet and greet. Tactical Homestead, maybe. I've thought about that. I've thought about it. Last time I was in Philly, I got to see the Liberty Bell Independence Hall and the Rocky Steps. Very cool. Live in the world, not of the world. Agreed. What else we got? What questions we got? Send it. Vic Cass, what's up, Vic? You need more bear tassels.
They're on the Grindstone store.
They're on the Grindstone store, grindstoneministries.com.
So we did a lot of like division, y'all. Like
yeah,
Refuge Medical has the medical stuff. Bear Independent has the stickers and stuff. Grindstone has the Bibles, bookmarks, zeets,
Yep.
all of those. So
Yep.
they're still there. You just have to go to the right store.
Andrew Stanek is a great point. LOL, that's called class. Fill it and meet and greet. Do you know in the morning class in Cleveland, we had, yes, Salt Lake City classes are coming, Yankee Watchdog. Stay tuned. Should be posted in about a week. We had 12 people in the morning class that were all within 30 miles of one another and had never met each other before. And they were all into preparedness and bear fans and willing to spend time and money to come train. And they were all within 30 miles of each other and had never met each other before. And I told them what I tell everybody in class: if y'all don't exchange information, you're freaking crazy. Don't tell me that you can't meet other like-minded people. Go to a class. Go to where, whatever you're into as a prepper, go do that. Guess what? You're going to find other people that are into that thing. Make a Kiss My Hairy Wet Ass shirt. I'll take a half a dozen extra large. Yeah, Roger that. But how's Dudley going to wear it? It's going to be weird. But actually, I think it would be even better if Dudley modeled it. So, need a custom wound care bucket for chainsaw accidents. It'll work for a chainsaw accident, bro. You're just going to use a lot of it.
Right.
You need a tourniquet for a chainsaw. Your thoughts on the supply chain being vulnerable? It is. But it's not as jacked up right now as they're making you believe. I believe that's conditioning so that when it becomes really jacked up, they're going to say, in continuing supply chain issues. Any plans for class up here in Alaska? Not currently, no. Ammo getting any cheaper in your area, Bear? No, it's about the same that it has been. Al course rhythm. Thanks, guess who? Or a chainsaw course, or that. There you go. Hey, Bear. Been hearing a lot of reports of Sasquatch in Oklahoma. You ever had anything weird happen? I have. I've discussed it previously.
Tell us the story.
And I can tell you this. I'm pretty sure. I say pretty sure. I'm positive the sound of a shofar makes Sasquatch go away.
Or your farts.
Or my farts. It's one or the other.
Tell them the story if you're ready.
I don't want to tell the
Come
Sasquatch
on,
story
it's a
right
good
now. I don't want to tell it. I don't care. Gear update video coming soon. What gear do you want me to update? I run a plate carrier. It has mags on it and an SOB kit and a radio and a spare tourniquet and a pair of wire cutters and a pen and a Sharpie and a couple of patches and a day pack on the back. It's got level 4 plates in it. And I run a war belt, and it's got an SOB on it, and an SE4, and 2 Glock mags, and an AR mag, and a compass, and a dump pouch from Cody at Sojourn Gear, and I don't remember what else, and a carabiner with gloves on it, and I wear boots, and I wear cami pants, and I wear shirts, most of the time T-shirts, and a floppy hat, and I like rifles that go bang bang with 5.56, but sometimes 7.62 39, or sometimes larger calibers than that. And I like Glock products, generally a 9mm, but I'm also a fan of 45. And there's the update. Oh yes, did you fix your rifle? I did indeed. It's this one right here. Just took a cleaning rod, and I thought I was gonna have to take a hammer and knock the case out. Just the cleaning rod was enough to just poke it out of the chamber. And it was just legitimately filthy. And then I cleaned it, and then it ran fine again.
The one that hangs outside was filthy.
Who'd have thought? And 4,000, 5,000 rounds on it, and been cleaned like twice. Any opinion on the Taurus G3? Yes. Not a bad gun. If you have larger hands, it is really good. But if you're going to try and concealed carry it, then you definitely need a garment in between you and the gun, because otherwise it's going to rub you raw. And I don't like the sights personally, but it's not a bad weapon. Bears Sasquatch adjacent. Thank you, John Jones. You mean cleaning a rifle is important? Yeah, occasionally. I mean, like once a year is probably a good idea. Very independent. Any crafty ideas for booby traps from SHTF? I can't share that with you. I can't share that with you. Yeah, because you don't need to know. I'll put it to you this way, though. How shall I say this? Early warning and early detection is good, and the best defense is a good offense. Let's leave it at that.
There's a sign that says trespassers will be shot.
There's that too. I was actually at a place the other day, and they had a sign hanging up that I loved it that said "No trespassing. We're getting tired of digging." And I was like, "Man, that's so us. We need that." I clean my gun every time I use it. I do not. If I cleaned my gun every time I use them, half my life would be
a
cleaning
daily
guns.
thing, yeah.
One half of my life would be shooting. The other half of my life would be cleaning. So, any thoughts on the Vortex Crossfire Red Dot? Is it any good? I haven't used the Vortex Crossfire, although I've been incredibly impressed with Primary Arms here lately. I had a Vortex Crossfire 2-7 optic that my gun, it was on a rifle, and it was leaning on the butt, and it very slowly fell over, about this fast, fell over, and landed on the scope, and it busted the bell end of the scope. Now, it held 0. That was impressive, but the bell end of the scope, the eyepiece that you look through, was canted off at about a 15-degree angle, and that was the last Vortex optic I ever bought. Even though they have a lifetime warranty, getting them to take your stuff and warranty it is a whole nother thing. So, my dad taught us never let the sun go down on a dirty gun. Whatever floats your boat, bro. The other thing to understand is with the technological advances and powders, especially like if you're shooting, corrosive ammo, yeah, clean the gun every time you shoot it. If you've got corrosive AK ammo, for sure, clean that thing. Every time you run it, hey, if you got time for that, go for it. But what are you going to do if you got to go, you're going to, now all of a sudden the gun that you have only works when it's super duper clean, and you got to go on a 6-week walk because you thought that you could ruck 20 miles a day, and it turns out it's only 6, and your bug out location is 200 miles away. Okay. And your gun doesn't get cleaned and doesn't get cleaned and doesn't get cleaned. Now, I have a small cleaning kit in my rucksack, I don't baby my weapons. Oh, I'm sorry. I said weapons. Jaeger had a great video that just posted. He said, it's not a weapon. Stop calling your gun a weapon. It's a tool. You are the weapon. And if you're the type of person that calls your gun a weapon, you're the tool. He said, there's one weapon and one tool. That's it. Either you can be the weapon and the gun's the tool, or the gun's the weapon and you're the tool. Yeah. So I like that. I don't like super finicky firearms. I don't like firearms that require constant attention. I want to be able to shoot 1,000 rounds through the gun and put it up and come back and clean it a week or 2 or 9 later, and it still works just fine. And the vast majority of my platforms do that. What are your thoughts on concealed carry between a SIG P365 and a Smith & Wesson Shield 9mm? Neither. I like the Glock 19 and the Glock 19X. I have not carried either of those. I got a Radical Turkish pump shotgun. It's really nice. Did you see the torture test that James at TFB TV did on that gun? You might want to go watch that torture test. It did not make it through 400 rounds. So I had a couple of drinks, saw a couple of things. What's up, Bare Metal? Love how we always wind up in the lowest common denominator here, right? What else we got? Jake Jones, awesome. Praise the Father, man. I currently carry an XDS, but I really like something smaller and lighter. I'm a Glock guy. They work. We were at the range a couple months ago, and it had torrentially downpoured the day before. There was literally 6 inches of mud on the range, and we were out there running drills, which is in of itself something that you should onboard as a statement. And we're back there running drills in the mud, 6 inches of mud, and I dropped a Glock mag for my 45, and it just went poof right into the mud. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? It's a Glock. So I picked this mud-covered magazine up, wiped most of the mud off, shoved it in the gun, and proceeded to fire that magazine through that weapon. I had 2 or 3 where it didn't quite fully seat in the battery, and I tapped the back of the gun, and I continued to run the drill that I was running with the muddy magazine, and it worked fine. And then afterwards, I dropped that mag, put a different mag in it without cleaning the gun at all, and shot another 100, 150 rounds through the firearm without cleaning it, caked in mud, and it ran fine. So, most of the firearms that are being produced today, the cheap firearms that are being produced today are as good or better than the good firearms that were produced 20 years ago. The quality for firearms has gone way up here lately. What are all these little tiny bugs that are flying into the side of my head?
They love you.
They're bugging you, huh? What do you think about the HK VP9 and the M1A Scout Squad? I hate the M1A Scout rifles. Let me see if I can say this a little bit more politely. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. If you like them, you do you, boo. I hate them. If I'm getting an M1A, it's going to get a 22-inch barrel on it so I can get a full powder burn. I got a longer sight radius. I get better external ballistics. I hate them. It's a heavy gun that has questionable ergonomics. It's an M1 Garand with a box magazine on it with a 16-inch barrel. It doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather have an AR-10 with an 18-inch barrel than M1A Scout. Britt Banry, what's up, man? Is your PSA back up and running? Yes, that's exactly what we were just talking about. It's right there. It was nothing but a stuck casing in the chamber. FN Foul. Great weapon. Ergo's not so much. Again, I would rather have an AR-10. Like, let's just all acknowledge that Eugene Stoner 70 years ago designed the AR-10, then scaled it down for the Air Force first and then the U.S. Army into the AR-15. And it's the longest serving service rifle in U.S. history. The damn things work. Let's just all acknowledge that the damn things work. Whoops, I just remembered to shut off my water. Puzzleman, turn off your water. I'd rather have a 240 Bravo. Yeah, as long as somebody else is buying the ammo, sure, and the weapon for that matter. Need more light. How's this? Does this help?
Put it in the camera, that'd be better.
Is this good? If I just wear this as a hat, just like this?
Let me see it. I'll be your lighting guy.
You're my lighting guy?
Yeah.
Please don't be a guy.
You lighting lady.
There we go. No, that's fine. It's fine. If you're watching this because you want to look at me, you probably need your head checked anyway. I spend money on glass. That's exactly right, Aeolus.
There you go.
LOL, you look like you have an idea. I like that. Oh, man.
He has the best ideas.
Getting sheep, any advice? We have several videos on sheep on Patreon. Don't get more than you need when you first get started. I would get a breed. I like hair sheep because you don't have to shear them. You do need to keep an eye on their hooves. Do not feed them goat feed because it has copper in them and will kill them. You can feed goats sheep feed. You can't feed sheep goat food. Make sure that they have plenty of water, plenty of grass. That seems self-explanatory, but a handful of sheep will decimate an acre of grass in about a week. So you might think, oh, we got plenty of grass. No, you don't. I would make sure that you have access to high quality feed and hay if needed. So, oh, you guys are going to take up a class action against my dislove for the M1A Scout. Whatever, man. That's cool. And some people are just into, classic cars that don't have power steering and, one knob on the radio, AM radio. That's fine. Whatever you prefer. Don't get me wrong. I like the M1A. I don't like the M1A Scout. I don't like scout rifles in general. The entire Jeff Cooper scout rifle concept, if you're going to go on a big game hunt in Africa, maybe it makes some sense. In North America for operating, no, not at all. Not even a little bit. My 2 cents. Katanen. Yeah, get Katanens. Did I see in an earlier video that you own a DPMS AR? Yes, you did. Your opinion on it. It's a fine piece of machinery. It runs just fine. At the time, I paid $500 for it with an optic and a bunch of magazines and ammunition years ago, and it runs great. That gun has at least 5,000 rounds on it. Runs great, and it groups well. It's soft shooting. It's reliable. And everybody who's like, well, it's not mil spec. Neither are you, homie. Neither are you. Your 240 Bravo sitting in Afghanistan, right? Just they got it mixed up. Instead of shipping, I got to go pick it up. My truck is 30 years old. Awesome. You apparently need to get in the market for an M1A Scout Squad rifle. Sanctified. If you had a choice, 375 Chi-Tech, 408 Chi-Tech, or 338 Lapua. 338. 338 is my understanding. Aeolus Defense will answer that question better. But 338 will make range just like 375 and 408 will. But 375 and 408 are ballistically tailored to engage, to hit a target at great distances. 338 Lapua Magnum is designed to eliminate a target at great distances. 375 Chi-Tac, what was the grain on that? But 350 grain Sierra Match King bullet going at 33,075 foot per second. There's a lot of foot pounds on that thing. But also, when it comes to buying ammo, 338 Lapua Magnum. Isaac Barrett summed it up perfectly. 338 is the shit. Agreed. Next question. Bless you, Jay Morris. $11 a shot versus 6. There you go. And God will punish you for that. Yes, if you don't buy a 338, he will punish you for that. He will also punish you if you buy an M1A Scout Squad. What is Hami's favorite thing to freeze dry? We just got our freeze dryer a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, man, I got a tab. Strawberries.
Strawberries.
Hello.
Thoughts on raising emu? I'd rather raise turkeys. Emus are big and potentially violent.
Okay.
I'd rather raise turkeys. 7mm Rem mag will get the job done. I agree. I like.
Go get the child.
Go do your thing. I like 7mm a lot. But barrel life is a consideration if you're going to shoot a lot of rounds. But I do like it a lot. It's probably my favorite everyman Magnum cartridge. I also want turkeys. I want all the things. Guys, we've got a few more minutes because it's a school night. What other questions we got?
You feel like going biblical?
Maybe. What's the question?
Just that Chinese prepper guy just keeps saying if you kill people, it's a sin, you shouldn't protect yourself that way. Have you not read the Bible?
Who says that? A
We
Chinese
just blocked him, please.
a Chinese prepper. Okay, apparently there's a comment stream going on in the comments from a Chinese prepper saying that if you kill somebody, it's a sin. Negative. Murder is a sin. You probably don't fit in here, man. You and your boyfriend need to find a different channel to watch. Murder, which is based upon the condition of your heart, is a sin. If you read the Bible, lots of people get killed and get killed righteously. In fact, several of the commands in the Bible involve killing somebody righteously for their transgression. So killing is 100% allowable per the Bible. And by the way, you need to knock it off with that nonsense because the Bear Nation is filled with people who have righteous blood on their hands because of the work that they've done on behalf of this country. So STFU, a Chinese prepper. There's a difference between killing and murder. What's your take on the rapture? Don't got time for that other than it doesn't exist. Read your Bible. Is there a level 2 class? Yes, there is. And we will be putting some level 2 classes up in the store shortly. Thoughts on a 6.8 SPC? It's Old Testament. Okay. And hold on. Where is he? Not new. You need to go read your Bible, but you also need to do it somewhere else because you just got blocked by Bear Independent. All right.
Or the whole bubble.
All of the bubble.
The full bubble.
12 gauge for home defense. Yes. Put a light on it so you're not shooting the wrong things at night. See you in October in Beeham. Roger that. Thoughts on PSA rifles? I own a lot of them, and they all work great. Yay for level 2 class. We'll be checking those out when posted. Awesome. Rapture isn't in the Bible. That was a Baptist thing. Yup, John Darby. Go do Google John Darby rapture. Do some research. Thoughts on fats for food storage. So fats are one of those things that's really hard to store long term because they go rancid. I store my fat on the hoof, and I like it that way. Also, you can get freeze-dried or dehydrated butter. Oil will last 2 to 3 years. Vegetable shortening will last 2 to 3 years. We don't do lard because swine is disgusting. Yeah, I like storing my fat on the hoof. A gladius for home defense. Yeah, or like a claymore. Well, claymores in general, whether it's this side towards enemy or, a long sword, whatever. John Nelson Darby, that piece of work. Sam knows what I'm talking about. That's right. General So's chicken has been removed from the menu. Clock 316. That was pretty crafty. Classes in Northwest Arkansas. The last classes we did in NWA were probably a year ago in the Fayetteville area. So maybe it's time for us, Glee or Gee, both over to bus. Guys, tell me in the comments if you're in Northwest Arkansas, if you'd be interested in another class there, just let me know. And if so, we'll set it up. How about a mace? There you go. These little bugs are abysmal. My dad raised me on dispelling myths about the Bible. Awesome. It's not that the Bible isn't true, because the Bible is true. It's everything that all these other people say that the Bible says that it doesn't actually say that's untrue. Is it level 2 doable when not in shape, steadily losing weight but still overweight? Should I wait till closer to fit weight? Yes, Montana. Level 1 and level 2 are classroom setting with practical applications. The level 3 is a recap in a classroom and then prepare to have your ass handed to you in real world training. So, any classes in Georgia? Yes, there's an Atlanta area class coming up right now. You can check it out at refugetraining.com.
I think you're a little out of shape. You probably could do level 3.
Yeah, you don't have to be a PT stud to do level 3, but you do need to be able to get up and run around a bit, drag some weight. Any classes in Oklahoma? We've done some in Oklahoma City. We've done some in Tulsa. We did one in Chewy, Oklahoma, which is nowhere, Oklahoma. We did one in Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is near to eastern Oklahoma. I've been thinking about the Lawton area, and we may go back to OKC again. Tulsa was a crap show. That's where the Willard sticker came from. If you've been here for a while, that's where the Willard sticker came from.
Would be very interesting to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
Their setup was perfect, though. For sure.
It was. We should definitely go back. We should rent it under a different name.
Oh, of course.
Like, this is Teddy Bears Incorporated. We want to use your conference room. It's only like $35 to start an LLC. We should totally start Teddy Bears Incorporated and then rent that same conference room again and then show up like, "Sup, Willard? We're back." Have corporate on speed dial already. Just
Pretty sure they're still in my house.
don't be a Willard. That's right. Thoughts on the PVS 14s? They're great until you get a 31, and then you just don't have any ambition anymore. But no, they're really good. Nods are force multipliers for sure.
J John.
Level 3 is highly recommended. It's great getting shot. You did really good getting shot, bro. I got my TCCC cert. Just want a proficiency test. Well, come on with it. Any tips for off-grid homestead income? Yep, I did an entire video on that on Patreon a few weeks ago. What I miss? Everything. Terra Firma 504. How can I find out about upcoming classes in Oklahoma? No social media or anything like that. Well, you're on YouTube. We talk about them on YouTube all the time. I typically post a short video when we put new class dates up saying, hey, we're coming to your town here on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed and ring the bell icon for notifications. Then also check Refuge Training about every week, refugetraining.com. About every week, we're putting new classes up there. So check them out. I can't justify $18K for PVS 31s. I agree. Kerry, bless you. Bear Creek Arsenal ARs. Right now, they are an avoid, comma. I may be shooting another video on Bear Creek Arsenal, comma. Right now, they are an avoid. If that changes, I will let y'all know. Next time you're in Oklahoma, I'm there. Prove it, Travis. Prove it. Thank you, Violence is Life. I got a Willard sticker on my work locker. Awesome.
Intel, Hemingway can email Intel.
I didn't see it.
You want to notice a drop in truck traffic? Would you like the notification? Just he doesn't say it. He does this. On camera.
Please don't know what he's talking about.
Okay. You're getting bombarded by mobs.
By moths?
Mobs.
Moths? Forgive me, what's the Willard thing? Willard may or may not have been an employee at a hotel where they attempted to give us a hard time because of COVID. And so then, and I mean by hard time, I mean like actively working against us, even though we rented half of his hotel, barricading doors, trying to throw our students and our staff out of his hotel while we had corporate on the phone, which turned into the Don't Be a Willard sticker, which was a sheep with a mask on his face. So why is Hami called Hami? Because her real name is Harmony, and Grandma just calls her Hami. Hami biscuits. Mommy went to go get your sister, and she will be right back. I think she did. She'll be right back, okay?
That was funny.
Yeah. Kushrob 58, bless you.
South Carolina, we're getting ready to leave.
Renee Freeman, roger that. It'll lift you up.
Carolina, we're getting ready to leave. Shoot and stuff.
Can I email you guys biblical questions? The more I look into things, the more lies I see. Bare metal, you can, comma, and I'm just being honest here. I would encourage you first to do your own research and definitely check out our playlist here. Use the YouTube search bar. If there's a chapter you have an issue with, if you're like, I don't understand Galatians 1, Bear Independent Galatians 1, or Shofar Mountain, or the number 2 Torah, or 119 Ministries, or Parable of the Vineyard, or whoever. Leave it. Thank
Any
you.
question you have, like, can you eat duck, or can you wear
Yeah,
this?
you did a
So-
video
Like
on
119 or you, or
Yeah, or Unlearn is another one.
Unlearned is great, yeah.
So I would recommend first that you do some research and do the bulk of the heavy lifting. And if you still need clarification on something, sure, comma, we get 10 to 15,000 emails a week. I shall repeat. Bless y'all. We get 10 to 15 1,000 emails a week. And so, out of necessity, a lot of those emails don't get responded to. Looped and Sanctified Supply Co. got their Patreon up and running. Thanks, Bear, for introducing me. Such great people in the Bear Nation. Thank you, Chris Haynes, for being a member of the Bear Nation for so long, brother. Level 3 wear cup. Roger that. I'm still struggling with some of it. Still, Zoom helps me out much. Oh, that's the other thing. On Patreon, men's group Monday and women's group Wednesday, like you got a whole group of people who are in this walk as well that you can ask those questions to. And then there's the men's group prayer chain. Exactly, Texas T. Bare metal because they were under Greco-Roman rule at the time. That's why. And then you look at who wrote the New Testament. I mean, Paul was a Roman citizen. Luke, they were Roman citizens. Timothy, right? Tell the Willard story. I just did, bro. How long you going to be in Orlando? Well, a few days. Bear, can I use a pressure cooker for pressure canning? No. Nope. You will make a bomb.
There are some pressure cookers that are also pressure canners. But
it's like whiskey versus bourbon, right? Like all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. Some pressure cookers are also pressure canners, but not all pressure cookers are pressure canners. So, generally speaking, no, because otherwise you're going to make a bomb. You still got Otto and Potato. We've got Potato. Otto went to live with a brother and sister of ours. Going to lose my job because of the jab mandate. What to do? I have done 6 videos on that on Patreon in the last 2 weeks. You go with your convictions and stop worrying. That's what you do. Get another job. And that's what people are like, well, it's easy for you to say, bro, I've done it. I've done it a dozen times. Get another job. Cab Doc used my bare minimum to stop an arterial bleed from a fireworks accident. Best kit in the world. Cab Doc, are you number 3? Have I met you? Or are you number 24 and that I don't know about yet? Cab Doc, hit me again in the comments. Have we met? Preston Jaffe, keep moving forward. Cab Doc, where did you go? Have I met you? Just need to know yes or no. If I've met you, that gives me all the context that I need. Jason and VA. Okay. All right, Bear, I'm the one you met in Roanoke. Then Cab Doc is number 24. Oh, gosh. Here we go.
24? 2 in the last 24 hours?
Used my bare minimum to stop an arterial bleed from a fireworks accident. Best kit in the world. Cab Doc, I need you to please email me. Email me admin@Bear Independent with a story. Just give me the context of what you did so we can confirm that you stopped an arterial bleed. We can add you to the list of lives saved, and then we can replace whatever equipment you used. Jason and VA, same with you. I think Fo reached out to you to determine what you needed replaced in your kit and hasn't heard anything back.
I talked to him.
You did? Okay, never mind. Fo already sent it. Good on you, Jason. Cab Doc, email us admin, ADMIN @Bear Independent with your story, please and thank you. That'll make 24. I haven't even announced 23. Let me go ahead and do that. See if I can keep this sanitized. Hello, Bear and team. I attended the Responder 1 class in blank earlier this month. Early the morning of blank, my stepson ran into my and my wife's room. He told us that we needed to come downstairs quickly. My stepdaughter's boyfriend had cut his wrist open several times with a serrated knife. My refuge training kit was still on my nightstand. I grabbed the blue tourniquet from class and followed him downstairs. I found him on my stepdaughter's bed, lying on his back, unconscious. There was a large amount of blood on her desk, on the floor, and there was a towel wrapped around his left wrist. My stepson applied pressure to the arm while I applied the tourniquet high and tight. We confirmed there was no pulse in the left arm. Good, there shouldn't be after you put the tourniquet on. He had a good pulse in his right arm, part of what we teach you in Responder 1. We realized that he had stopped breathing. My stepson immediately performed CPR and got him breathing again. We then covered him in blankets to keep him warm, which is something we talk about in Responder 1 as well. I then pulled the Mylar blanket out of my Bearfac and added that to his covering. He'd gone extremely pale. We confirmed that there were no other wounds, something else we teach, and monitored his breathing. We kept the wound on his wrist covered. Both my wife and my stepdaughter called 911. Due to our location, it took police and EMS 15 minutes to arrive. You got 2 minutes on the arm with an arterial bleed, 90 seconds on the leg. I was able to direct them straight to my stepdaughter's boyfriend and advise them that a tourniquet was applied to the left arm approximately 15 minutes prior to their arrival. EMS remarked that they didn't need to worry about bleeding control due to the tourniquet. They examined the wound and redressed it. He regained consciousness long enough to briefly speak with EMS and get into the ambulance. We received word earlier today from his mother that surgery was successful and he is physically stable. If it weren't for Refuge Training and the equipment from Refuge Medical, it could have been a very different story. I just wanted to thank you all. I hope you keep going. You are making a difference in people's lives. Bless you, this person's name. So, that's life number 23. And now we need to find out from CavDoc about life number 24. And so, I mean, that's why we do what we do. That's why I'm so thankful that you all support our small businesses, that you buy our American-made products, that you tune in for these live streams, that you allow us to be a part of your life. And the fact that there's 24 people who are still alive now because of these kits and this training, it blows my mind. It blows my mind, man. That's awesome. 24 people in 18 months. Yeah. Our instructor shirts still have 11 hash marks on the sleeve because when we started the training division, we were at 11. I'm praising the Father for 11, and we've more than doubled that. He has more than doubled that in a year.
A lot of the lives saved recently
Yeah.
are from the training, not just because I bought a kit.
It's a great point.
Most of them-
It's not just because somebody had a kit. It's also because they attended training and knew how to use the kit. So, Bear, you need an info patch sewn into the fax requesting the stories from people. Dragon Shield, that's a good idea.
That's a good point. If you're close within 2 to 3 hour drive to a training,
Yep.
get there.
I don't know how many
You never
times
know
I've
when
said
you're
that.
gonna use it.
If you're within a few hours of one of our training events, just come see us, please. Just come see us, please. Bear, have you heard of Buffalo Trace Bourbon? I have. In fact, I was gifted a bottle of it in this most recent tour, and I will be sampling it on day 1 of Not 75 Hard, 17 days from now. Bless you, Hans. Raincat, what's up? Shalom. Kentucky anytime soon. I don't know. When's the next time you'll be in the Midwest? Well, we got classes coming up in Indiana, in Indy, and then I don't know from there.
Can we do anything in Canada?
No.
We just can't go anywhere.
Nope. If I won't go into Illinois, I won't go into Canada. Not doing it. Roger that, QRF. All right, y'all. We're pushing 2 hours. Getting eaten by bugs. It's bedtime. Got school tomorrow. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for hanging with us. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you to all the patrons for supporting the channel. We wouldn't do this show if it wasn't for you. Thank you to everybody who supported us at Refuge Medical and Refuge Training. Thank you for all the intel. Thank you for all the prayers. Thank you for being with us. Go be the light, everybody. Shalom.